So good evening. Welcome to the Friday Study Circle. And we can start with 1 minute of silence again, just to be more here and gather ourselves. Just focusing on our breath. So we'll continue first with the passage from the Sunlit path. Last week we had done this one, control your impulses. And the next passage is reason must be the master. So, just want to say that, although these topics look like, oh, I know, right? Like even control your impulses. On the surface, it looks, I know. And yet there is so much that we don't see even when we see, that it's so good to see them again and just keep checking in. And of course, you always see new aspects that you have been missing. So if anybody would like to read from this passage, please unmute. I would request them to unmute and read. Otherwise, I can do that.
Yeah, I can read.
Thank you, Jason. Yes, let me just zoom in a bit. Not, is it visible okay? Should I make it
Yes,
right
yes.
now?
No, no,
Okay,
this is this.
okay, perfect. Then you can please read.
Reason must be the master. It is a good thing to begin to learn at any early age that to lead an efficient life and obtain from one's body the maximum it is able to give, reason must be the master of the house. And it is not a question of yoga or higher realization. It is something we should it is something which should be taught everywhere, in every school, every family, every home. Man was made to be a mental being, and merely to be a man. We are not speaking of anything else. We are speaking only of being a man. Life must be dominated by reason and not by vital impulses. This should be taught at this should be taught to all children from their infancy. The first thing which should be taught to every human being as soon as he is able to think is that he should obey reason, which is a super instinct of the species. Reason is the master of the nature of mankind. One must obey reason and absolutely refuse to be the slave of instincts. And here I am not talking to you about yoga. I am not talking about spiritual life, not at all. It has nothing to do with that. It is the basic wisdom of human life, purely human life. Every human being who obeys anything other than reason is a kind of brute lower than the animal. That's all. And this should be taught everywhere. It is the basic education which should be given to children. The reign of reason must be the reign of reason must come to an end only with the advent of the physique law which manifests the divine will.
Yes, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcoming reflection.
One word which was coming to me when we were talking of reason, reading about reason is what I think, Taru, we were talking about basic skillfulness in our actions. So
Mm.
just using our basic intelligence, that is it benefiting me? Is the way I am working, is the way I am thinking, is the way I am feeling, is it benefiting me? So very basic. And I think in human beings we take very pride in saying, or maybe funnily pride in saying that common sense is very uncommon these days. Why is it uncommon? Because we don't even use our basic intelligence. So I think those of us who don't understand what does it mean by reason, we can understand it in one way, is also this way of understanding that just looking at any action that we take in our life, thought patterns, the way we think, the way we feel, the way we in loop think about what people said and what they did not say, is it benefiting me? Very simple, that's reason. And if it is not benefiting me, then having this much basic intelligence, which an animal may not have, I think it has, because it cares about itself. They have protective instincts, and they also know, okay, not to go there and go there. So with us, it's a very funny situation that we have gotten separated from our those instincts. Animals work on instincts. If they sense that, oh, something is there in that bush, they don't go there. So for them, what helps them, protects them, is this basic instinct, if we can call that. But for us, it has become so entangled that we neither are able to use that basic instinct, because we have gotten disconnected from that. That you go into a place and you get the feel, yes, this is it. That instinct or intuitive sense. We are disconnected from that, or because we abuse the mind, we don't even know how to use the basic intelligence well, that if it is not benefiting me the way I am living right now, what stops me to change the ways in my life? So unskillful ways have to be abandoned, and more skillful ways have to be adopted. And this is what we can also call self love, that I love myself so much that now I don't want to make myself more miserable. Yeah, so just these thoughts were coming. Welcome, Swapna and Shreya, good to see you.
Good to be here, Monica. Thank you.
I think what you said, how proud we are of our reasoning skills, right? Like, and lifetimes are wasted, if I can use the word, in following what I think is right. And in the end, I could be saying that I was, wrong, not right all along. So I think probably what distinguishes us from, say, an animal is the possibility to think and judge, right? And at its root, it's pure, it is light. But with our conditionings and patterns and habits, the instincts get muddled. Our I want, this I gets muddled. So, whatever resources you are using for judging anything, they are all muddled, right? So, I mean, for a mother to say that do not use your instincts, although when we think about it, instincts sound like, they would guide you well. But just because your instincts are not your instincts, you get taken over, you get influenced, it's a collective, it's, I mean, so much happening that go with the power of reason till you reach the psychic being. I mean, how much, I don't know, how else can she make it clearer, right? And yet we don't, right? Like lot of times when we question the things that we do, say, for example, why do we celebrate birthdays? It's a very simple thing, and people would be like, what's your problem? We celebrate birthdays because we celebrate birthdays. because it's fun, because it's, because we have been celebrating birthdays. Like for anything, if we try to probe in, what does this do to the child? What does it do to the other 20 children who are there? Kind of a thing, then we would not be able to justify that. And then the thing would be, not everything needs justification. And yet, at the end of the party for 2 days, people would be cribbing about how tiring it was, how the child, kind of. I remember when it was my child's first birthday, people had warned me that, and that was the only time I did anything, because everybody said first birthday to karna hi hota hai. But everybody told me that make sure you have a separate room along with, whatever hall I had booked, because on the first birthday, the children are miserable because, everybody's picking them, everybody's touching them, and, they just, and then also I wondered that really, then why are we doing this? I mean, thankfully he didn't. Like the kid was fine. He was very happily going to anybody. That's not the point. But anything, if I question why I'm doing this, because I do end up complaining about most of the things, and then I say, I don't know where my life is going. But if I'm not using reason to see the genuineness, the simplicity, the actual, I don't know, what is my motive, what is my intention, the center from which I'm operating. And then if I complain about things are not working out, if I'm not looking at my patterns, so it's very interesting how it feels very logical that I must be doing it, right? I take it as an assumption that I am an intelligent person. I cannot do stupid things. And yet, when I look at the intricacies, my movements, my patterns overall, they're not very intelligent. I mean, for sure, I can talk about myself that there are attempts, and yet there are so many things I don't see until I'm shown them. So yeah, just the basic initial thoughts. Requesting more reflections, please, if any.
And also, I think this thing that we feel that I'll be missing out on something, or in your example, the example that you shared, the child will be missing out on, what is supposed to be real. I think that also has to change for us, because as mother says that as long as we make whatever outward happenings as concrete reality, and our inner soul is unfed, and the soul's deepest aspiration are not cared for, not attended to, because there only we get some glimpses, and we feel nahi nahi isko to baad mein attend kar lenge, we can attend it later, first this thing is more important. Why? Because our senses make it more real. So I think mother says that this has to change, that whatever you right now, I'm paraphrasing her words, she says that whatever right now for you is concrete reality, this person in your life, that situation, the life, the job, the whatever entertainment, recreation, as long as that is more real for you, then nothing can be really done, because you will keep on ignoring what is real. And today I think we were talking, Swapna and myself, and we were talking about, that if now I want to take ahead a stance of not identifying with the ego consciousness, my patterns, and for example, I was taking this example of another person, so we see that other person is very happy and joyous in his life. Now, instead of feeling jealous, which I would normally, which I call normal because I'm used to and familiar with that pattern of feeling jealous, instead of that, if I now make a new skillful pattern for myself, which is how nice that person would be feeling that he is very happy, so rejoicing in his happiness. And Sri Aurobindo gives a very beautiful explanation that why would I rejoice in his happiness? Not because of any other reason, but when I rejoice in his happiness, his success, I am actually identifying with my divine self, which is one and same in the all. So we were discussing that in the beginning, it will feel like a pretense. It would feel that I am pretending, I am actually not joyous and not even my divine self, but just trying to be. But why would it feel so pretentious? Because I am not habituated to it. So I am so used to living like a ego and feeling jealousy, anger comes so naturally to us that we think that this is me. But if those were us, then we would be very content with all of them. But we are not. So then in the beginning, it's okay to feel that you are pretending. It's okay to go through that discomfort. But very soon, that becomes more authentic when you feel the benefit of it. And the other thing feels actually now that you have to pretend being an ego, because now being the divine self, it appears like a big word, but it's not just the same self in all. That becomes automatic. That becomes a habit, that now I can rejoice in anyone's happiness. I don't have to feel jealous. And now if I'm feeling jealous, that makes me uneasy. So mother says that be very conscious of what makes you uneasy. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And once you start doing it comes it becomes again like, how a habit, and you see that shift within you. But okay, you see, okay, somebody got what you wanted, and you're happy because what you wanted obviously was good, right? So, okay, because of the course of events, you couldn't get it. But when you actually just say that, I'm so happy that, okay, somebody else would enjoy what I thought I would want, it's very expanding. I mean, you have to do it to know it, that it's very expanding. And, that grasping or that clutching that mujhe nahi mila, that kind of just goes because, okay, you like, say, for example, in children, it's very easy for us to see, right? When a child is enjoying something, you even want to give them your share, right? And no, you eat, kind, or you have, like, because they just seem to be just, I don't know, that joy is radiant. So if you actually feel happy that, okay, I couldn't, but seemingly this person now is there and they could. Oh, how wonderful is that, right? So that, that how Jetsunwala talks about that black pearl that's in our heart, which says, but I didn't, I want. It's really nice when you're able to actually communicate that, maybe just internally, right? I mean, if you want to say, you say. I remember once, I mean, it's not that related, but I was on a long flight and there were two people who were serving us. One of them was like quite rude and mean, and the other person was really very generous and sweet. So at the end, I basically went to him and I thanked him. I said it's a difficult job, right? Like to cater to so many people and stuff. And yet your kindness, which I felt, was coming out. So thank you. And he actually started crying. He said that I feel so much love, but nobody ever seems to appreciate that. Nobody sees that. And this is not just a job for me. I really like to serve. So I think we always just see the negative, right? And just complain that, I could have just complained about the person who didn't do it nicely, or I could appreciate the one who felt like he's doing it from an inner center. So just what I'm seeing, what I'm appreciating, it changes my life too, because then that's who I'll remember. I will not carry the other thing with me because it's not about the other two. It's like, because most of my things are motivated from my own thing. So that shift, like you said, in the beginning, it could look like a pretend, it looks like a formal statement, right? That you're just saying this, that because, grapes are sour, how they say, कि अब नहीं मिला तो बोल दो. But it's very possible to say that from a genuine, simple space that, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. When it was been talked, and I was remembering about Sri Aurobindo. He says like the men are potentially divine. So this thought has not been put in our society. The practices are from the childhood. Only thing, whoever has been brought up in the different circumstances. So we are brought up in the circumstances means we must stand on our own feet. So the child has to go to the school and learn something, and maybe science subjects or commerce subjects, and also that I can earn money and do my living, and that is all. So this is a majority of the cases, or rather, in all the cases, this happens. So, like in my case, it was something different. When I was in class, I was studying in the village school at class 7 or 8. Then my brother got a job at Calcutta and he went off. And after some time, we came to know that he started visiting Ramakrishna Mission. Uh, and after 2 3 years, we came to know that he is staying there. He was staying in a private accommodation, but then he started going there and he started staying there. And after few years, he left his job also and he became full-time devotee. So my mother was very scared, and and I was the person who was studying in the school, so I was told to go to Calcutta and bring him back. So which I did not know actually how to meet the adult people and talk to them logically or something and all. And she was worried that I must be getting married when I am a marriageable age, such that I should not also go away from home. The thing is that the pattern of life which are there in every society is there. Only you earn your bread, and you should be capable of earning your bread, and that is all the aim of life, aim and objective of life. But since my brother went off and all this, and I visited ashram and all, and when the mass prayer and all this participation I was doing, so I even the first question I was asked, "Who are you?" When I reached there, there are a couple of people. They asked me, "Who are you?" So at that time, I told my brother's name is Bhakti. So I said, "I am Bhakti's brother." So that usually we say relations with whom I can relate. So then there I learned that that there are so many things in our life, that the life which we are leading in our family is not that only life. There is some life outside it. So I got the taste of it. So till then I was not having any idea. Like other day I was reading J. Krishnamurti about the originality. He says we are the second-hand people. We have lived on what we have been told, either guided by our inclinations, our tendencies, or compelled to accept by circumstances and environment. We are the result of all kinds of influences, and there is nothing that we have discovered for ourselves. So this has not happened. Actually, this is not happening. So we are the second-hand people now because of our association, and we are talking and discussing and thinking. Otherwise, this thought never comes, and no friend circle or nowhere we are discussing this. That other than what we are doing is also life, other than the life which we are leading or enjoying, or happiness or joy or whatever we call. There is life that it has never been spoken and adhered to. So that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Badalji. This reminded me that it's a matter of cultivation. As we see, whatever we get cultivated into, that's what we become. And if the cultivation changes, we can become something else. So I remember listening to this interview. I think I had shared with many of you. I don't know where all I shared, by Tara Didi here, Tara Johar in Delhi Ashram. So it was an interview in Hindi so that everyone could understand, also on a Hindi channel. And there she was sharing that the way we grew up, uh, roti, kapda, and makan, these basic necessities, we never bothered that our life has to be dedicated to this, roti, kapda, makan. So that was very powerful, because it just showed me that, wow, that's also possible. She said, what was the focus of our life, start right from the start, was how to be master of ourselves. How amazing, what a cultivation, that we know what to give priority to. So I think, as we were discussing the other day, that mother says that if you have the straight path in front of you, you don't need like to bang your head here and there and here and there and then get the straight path. If you know the straight path right now, as caretaker also, as adult, why not cultivate it right for the children also? Children must know from the very beginning what is the aim of our life as human beings. Why not? And I think that we underestimate children specifically. We think that they can't understand. They can understand, at 6 7 years of age, if you really want to make them understand with love, that why are we here, in all the ways possible. There can be several ways, and even in each instance of life, to master the mind, to look at the thoughts, to look at the feelings, not to be swayed by the moods. I think then life also for them becomes very interesting, that like an inner journey going on. What you were sharing, that the inner was, for us also, it was never given importance. All that mattered was subjects. I remember my own life. I just it was just textbooks for me. It's not that I don't enjoy textbooks, I did enjoy them, but I did not know of any other life if not for running after maybe degree, college education, and all that. It was very late, towards the end of my education career, if I can call that end, PhD, at least the formal education, that I realized, what have I done? 14 15 years of education, what has it given me? I feel so abandoned, I feel so lost, I don't know who I am. What has that 14 years of education given me? Because I can't remember any history, no geography, no civics, I can't remember all that. So yeah, it's a very good reflection to come upon in our life, that a different kind of life is possible. Yeah. And right for the, in fact, whatever was being shared, even the first line she says, right from the start. So she doesn't say that wait for the child to become young age, teenager, and then start the education. Right from the start. Yeah, thank you. So it is a good thing to begin to learn at an early age. And that is where the vision of Mother Shri Aurobindo schools, that's why they are different from other schools. Because what they focus upon is that the psychic light in them, that should not get masked. We have to maintain that psychic light in front, which in kids, most of the kids is right there in front also. But over time it gets masked. Other things, roti kapda makan becomes important, so it gets masked. So mother is saying it is good thing to begin to learn at an early age, that to lead an efficient life and obtain from, so efficiency, we all want efficiency, that I must be able to earn this much and at least have a good, decent, sane, peaceful life. All of us want that. So, and obtain from one's body the maximum, again, the physical discipline. If I want to run this much, I should push myself to run this much. The body understands. One's body, the maximum it is able to give, reason must be the master of house. So this can start from the very beginning. That is the way the child is thinking or I am thinking. Is this helping me? Is this making me more positive? Am I able to deal with the situation better if I am crying? And if I really want to make a resolution, then think about it, use reason. Let us think of a good possible resolution and not cry, because crying won't resolve stuff. Yeah. And mother shares that it is not a question of yoga. Very basic stuff we are talking here. She says, not a question of yoga or higher realization. It is something which should be taught everywhere, in every school, every family, every home. Man was made to be a mental being, and merely to be a man. And she's not talking of a divine man here. you know so we have to see, this is just basic, from animal man to just being a man. That's where she's talking. This is the ground, that we are not speaking of anything else, not talking of divine possibilities. No, very basic uh, kind of demand from being a man. If I am a man, we are speaking of only being a man. Life must be dominated by reason and not by vital impulses. Very, very simple, very crisp and clear, as always with the mother. Because we see that when we are ruled by vital impulses, how much we suffer. Very simple. And one should have this love for oneself and for others, that I don't want to make anyone suffer, or myself suffer. So let us find a good, reasonable resolution. Yeah.
As Monica ji was talking about Manhus, man, the Ramakrishna Paramahansa says Manus. Manhus means Manhush. Hush means awareness, and Man means our respect and regards. What we got. He says that Manus word has come, in Hindi or Sanskrit or Bengali or whatever it be. Then Manus, man. English, of course, that sense is not there, but here that Manhush means I am other than animal. That is the Manhush. Animal is not having this. Only Manhush, those who are there. I have got standing a standard in the society. I am standing here. This is my standing, and that I should be aware. So that is Manhush.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yes. So I think if I have this awareness, this light of intelligence, which can see, the light of consciousness which can see, and that is what is making me man. And if I am not even aware of that awareness and not being able to do, take help from that, take support from that, so why I'm not allowed to be called a man. So that's what mother is sharing here. So that's just, we are speaking only of being a man, not an animal man, of being a man. She's sharing that this must be there. And how, I mean, as she says that this must be a part of education, must be a part of family. And how much we ignore this usually. Even right now, so many the regular kind of schools, I wonder how much this aspect is taken care of. Yeah, anyone? I think we are here. Vital impulses, reason why vital impulses. Yeah. This should be taught to all children from their infancy. Look, mother also gives the age. So infants, imagine, not even 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, but infants. So this the first thing which should be taught to every human being as soon as he is able to think, is that he should obey reason, which is a super instinct of the species. It's like a special sense given to us which we can use. Reason is the master of the nature of mankind. One must obey reason and absolutely refuse to be the slave of instincts. Why? Because they make us suffer. And as you were sharing in the beginning, that they are distorted. We are not even connected with pure instincts. The ego distorts the instincts. And here I am not talking to you about yoga. I am not talking about spiritual life, not at all. It has nothing to do with that. It is the basic wisdom of human life. Beautiful. Purely human life. Every human being who obeys anything other than reason is a kind of brute lower than animal. That's all. One thing which is very good with animals is that they don't distort their natural instincts, which we have the capacity to. Yes, Ashriya, would you like to share?
I had a question. I think I'm not understanding this completely. Being driven by our instincts is also good in a way, right? I mean, is it only the distorted instincts that we need to not follow or be careful about? Because instincts, sometimes reasoning fails and it's your instinct that's telling you, you know, what's the right thing to do in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this is not reference to these intuitive impulses that come. The mother is, I believe there is the talk of that, that basic instincts of jealousy, reproduction, living like an animal that we do because we have not risen from that state. I am a man, but I'm still living like an animal. I am eating, I am feeding, I am eliminating. What is the difference between me and the animal? But you are talking of intuitive insights which come to us, that where you get a feeling that I should be here or I should not be here. I think that is intuitive sense that would not be coming in this category. That's what my feeling is.
Okay.
I think one thing is there that everything is so muddled up that sometimes it's hard to even know whether this is a right intuitive instinct or it's just my conditioning. I know I'm just repeating myself, but lot of things that I want are not something that I really want. I just have been made to believe that I must want these. Or I have seen snapshots or pictures or images and I feel that, yeah, acha lag raha hai. Chale, that's, let me run after this. And then before I know it, that has become my goal. Like, say, for example, I'm sitting casually at home and my sister says, why don't you go for a vacation? You haven't gone on a vacation. It's a long time. And I tell her that, I don't feel any need. But sometimes the seeds get planted, then I keep thinking, yes, now I really feel like going on a vacation. I must, just giving a random example that I have I have seen that the things that I run after, lots of them, if I trace back their roots, they did not even originate in me. Somebody told me, and I just, took them, adopted them, and then wrote of them, and then they became desires. And it was like, my life is wasted because I couldn't achieve that, firstly, that. So just I think offering whatever, again, if it feels like an instinct, then also trying to see the big picture and offering because, I feel that, especially Monica, when you were sharing, it was coming to me that somehow in our society, we are always given short-term goals, right? Like for a child, it's just school and books. For a person, for an adult, it's like for an adult, it's like, okay, job. Okay, job हो गया. Okay, now marriage. अच्छा, marriage हो गई. Okay, now start thinking about the first child. Okay, now second. Okay, now house. Because if we see the complete picture, if I see a baby being born, and if I see a dead body, I'm sorry, it sounds not okay, but if I see that everything is ending here, everything is ending here. Say if I see a big house, in a great green orchard and there's a ravine and stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, that looks good. But then, just this thing that, how is that really good? I mean, it is good, and yet where does it culminate? Right? It's just a thing. I am more than these things. Okay, I mean, if I feel okay, I want that, but just to look at the desire too, that what am I desiring? Again, material, although it could look like a castle, right? And yet it's again just a materialistic thing which looks good. What good is it doing me? I don't know. So if we could just see the bigger picture, if possible, using a reason, right? Okay, this is where it came from to me, this is a good thing, and this is where it ends. Where do I want to go? Do I want to follow that instinct? Is that instinct genuine? Will it take, जैसे hit is the word. कि क्या बस चाहिए कि it's a good thing, it seems, just to be
Absolutely.
wary of.
No, and pausing in between, the word that you use, that pausing in between while all this running around is going on, pausing in between just to check, how do I feel in this running? And what has it given me? What benefit has it done to me? And again, we go back to, this, the word reason, or being skillful in our approach, that if it is giving me some lasting contentment, lasting satisfaction, okay, continue the journey. But if I still feel so wounded and bleeding from all sides, running after all these things, then why not change? Why not care for ourselves? So again, I think looking at whatever benefits me truly, not these short terms fleeting happinesses, really wanting true contentment. And do I see a possibility in this, whatever the game I am playing, the drama that is unfolding in front of me, would that give me that lasting contentment that I'm looking for? And if not, changing my way, in outward orientation, and then taking the inward orientation. Taru, can you put up the thing again? Yeah. So I think, as you were sharing, to be very conscious of this grasping self, which jumps at things. Mother is talking of vital impulses. It's like mother talks about vital a lot, how it is like a bad master, vital. And it just complicates, mother says the vital complicates everything. Because it just keeps on demanding, 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 demanding. And that is the desire self in us, the sticky self in us. And if I'm truly to be a human being in this life, then it is my journey, it is my path, noticing that stickiness wherever it arises and stepping back from that stickiness. That's the journey I think each one of us has to pursue. Otherwise, what's the fun? And when we pursue this journey, then we see that it gives us joy. Wherever I want to just pounce upon an opportunity or something to eat, or a person, or an opportunity to travel, wherever I see this pouncing coming in my being, there I have to be very conscious, and in fact step back from that pouncing, and see that yes, I can be okay even when I don't have that particular thing. And that's why mother says the desire, stepping back from desire gives us joy. It's a greater joy. Desire fulfillment will give me fleeting joy. But stepping back from desire makes me realize that, wow, I thought I was incomplete without this thing. But look, I don't have it. I offered it to someone else and I'm okay. Still complete. So these experiments, again, one has to do for oneself to realize what it gives or what it doesn't give. So this should be taught everywhere. It is the basic education which should be given to children. So like a model, again, mother says so many things about model education, the ideal education. So this is the basic education which should be given. The reign of reason must come to an end only with the advent of psychic law, which manifests the divine will. Now, there can be another whole session on psychic being, psychic law, what is psychic law. But right now, to be on the safer side, knowing that throughout 24 hours of my day, I am not running by intuitive instincts. I am run or overpowered by distorted perceptions that are there in front of me. Now, knowing my fact, therefore, reason must be the master. But once psychic comes in front, there is no doubt. There is no doubt. You then don't have any doubt, because psychic is in like a direct connection with the divine. That's our connection with the divine, the psychic being. It just knows what Shreya was talking, that intuitive. It just knows. I just know I have to be here right now. I don't know how. So now there is no reason. Now it goes beyond reason. There is no reason I want to give for why I should be here at this moment, but I just know I have to be here. So that knowing then takes the front seat. But as long as it is not there, since we know that's not right now the case in our lives, there one must reason and choose the most skillful possible way that benefits me. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone, please go ahead after I have done all the blabbering.
I think it's also important not to let these things complicate us further, right? Like sometimes these become our hindrances and it feels that, oh, what is everything I'm doing wrong, right? So, I mean, for me, I think just a takeaway would be to keep questioning oneself, right? Like in the reason domain, that okay, this impulse is coming. Do I want it? Do I want it? Why do I want it? Okay, where will this lead me? Just giving it that 3 to 4 minutes that it takes, which I don't give it, and yet I spend months running after something. And I don't know what we were reading the other day, Monica, in which it said that when the sidekick comes in front, you don't even have a question that is the psychic in front, right? Then it just is. So knowing that I would not be even questioning this with certitude and groundedness and headboard, knowing that I'm often my own enemy, and remembering the big picture, checking the center of operation again and again, that what is my intention, what am I desiring, kind of in secret in whatever I'm doing, and just doing what one is doing, like not using this also as a load on one's head. That is it reason, is it intuition, is it, because it can be that, right? But that's not the intention. I mean, that would actually be pretty bad if we do that. Yes, Shreya, thank you for joining.
Yeah, in fact, what you just shared, mother, there are words by the mother where exactly mother is sharing that question, why do I think like this?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like this? Not taking that for granted that this is me. I am not going to change. This is me. This is how I have been since childhood. But she says, questioning what you were sharing, that if this impulse has come, where is it going to take? Haven't I followed this impulse earlier? What has it given me? So much drainage of energy. Yeah. Yes. One example which comes, like the way we live, we are so much in our heads. We have driver licenses, but we may not really know how to drive. So I was thinking that there is a purpose to rules and regulations, because the very reason that we live in ignorance. We are not following any particular reason. At times I may follow reason. At times I'm just a slave of impulses, because that is what I want. So why are there red lights on the roads? I often wonder about it. And if each one of us would be living from true consciousness, there would come a time that we don't need red lights at all. But since we don't live from true consciousness, that each one has its own desire. One, I want to reach there, as soon as possible. The other one is maybe thinking something what happened in the morning, and driving. And that's why there need to be some kind of rules and regulations and discipline. So again, I think red light can be an example of reason, that because you are not in your body, the mind is everywhere but in the body. So better follow this light in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't like red lights, right? Like even if there's like a 2 seconds provision that I can jump it, I jump it, right? Because just ego doesn't like to be questioned, because when it's questioning, it will come out that no, 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 you're not doing the right thing, right? So again, if we can learn to like red lights because they force us to stop when all we want to do is just, cross it at the maximum speed possible. So again, pun intended, we don't like questions, right? We just feel दिल कर रहा है ना, अरे ऐसे ही तो करते हैं यार, हर चीज में ही तुम क्वेश्चन करते रहते हो, थोड़ा जी तो लो. So just knowing that, know these pauses, even if I feel very confident, how can they harm me, right? How can they harm me? I mean, if I'm sure, I will definitely do that. But something in me, the ego self, doesn't like to stop, doesn't like to question, doesn't like to reason, doesn't like to reflect, because it wants to say, I know. So yeah, very good example of red light.
Yeah. So any last comments, anyone? Should we take up the next? Maybe not now today, है ना? Enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Badalji, please go ahead.
Yes, the Swami Sarvapriyanand, he is in LA, I think, Los Angeles. He's in Vedanta Institute. He's a minister from the Ramakrishna Mission. And one of the video in the YouTube I was observing, so you're telling there are a lot of Indians, they have come here, US, and some are green card holders and all, or young age about to get the green card. This is those who are coming to such lectures on Vedanta. So few of them, they explain their positions. They say that the parents, they always wanted good for us from the beginning. They have the way they wanted to bring me up and all this and all this. And I must take science subject because computer is the end thing nowadays, and all those and all those. And I did good in engineering and all, and I got a good job offer after my engineering, and I came to US, and I'm earning a lot of money. Now, after this, what? When I ask my father or parents that what should I do with so much money? Because it is much more than what I require for my living. So he says there is no answer. So now please tell me what to do. There's something like this situation. I was after my working in Air Force and HL retirement, I was working in the insurance company, Kotak Mahindra. So there are certain people I met. I wanted to make them the client. So the one bank officer, he told me that, see, from SBI general manager, he is retired, and now he has a property, house property at Bombay, then Madras, and 2 properties at Bangalore. Now he has 1 daughter and 1 son, and both are educated and they are working. So he asked his son that you come with me and we will dispose that Bombay property. He says, I don't go anywhere. See, you have given me education and I got a job and I can look after myself and you also. But there is no opportunity because you have got so much of properties. You take care of them. I don't need anything. You have given me good education and now I'm established and that is all. I don't need any money or monetary benefit or anything from property. So this was lamenting actually. I say what to do with this. I don't know. what to do with the properties. It's about 10 crores value, because he's getting pension and things like that, and is also not required. So whatever you want. So for us, in majority of the cases, either we are fighting for the roti kapda makan, or this sort of thought that after this I don't know. The parental guidance finishes there. That you stand on your own feet and start earning and do the family life. Even I was narrating for my brother and everyone, even including my school children, I mean, school teacher and all, they came to know. They said that he's an escapist. At the time when I was a student, I was told that he's an escapist. He does not want to take the working pattern of the society. So he ran away from this. But later on, when they become, the teachers become very old and all, then they are saying, they have changed their opinion. They say that whatever he did, that was the good. So it is not that he has become sannyas and he is gone away, we do not know where is he or something and all this. But this path is not acknowledged by anyone, because the joy or happiness or peace of mind, what we get in the family life normally, that we are so strict about that, that there cannot be any other joy beyond this, because those are on this line, the sunlit path, and they are moving in some direction. We cannot show the joy. They cannot feel, because they are not trained how to feel this joy. That I am also getting a joy because if I am moving in this sunlit path. And so, what is the difference between these two? The joy, enjoyment, the party, and this and that, and all, which I am normally enjoying, or this one. I will not go and drink and enjoy the party, but I'll do this. Attend some lectures or discourse, or we'll discuss something amongst ourselves or this thing. So this distinction, it cannot be put in front of them, proving that yes, the everyone wants the proof, like a court of justice. They say that evidence. So you have to give that evidence, because unless we practice something that we cannot see, because the feeling has to be yours, it's not mine. Like Swami Vivekananda, when he went to Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he says that, have you seen God? He said yes. Ramakrishna Paramahansa says he was an illiterate person. He has not gone to school and all that. He said yes. But he says, but not like I am seeing you, but it is much more than that. Because with my eyes, I am seeing you. It's not seeing you actually, we're seeing the reflections, because sunlight is there, it's falling on you, and it is coming back to my eyes and my mind and senses and all this curriculum, that I am in position to see you. But it is much more than that, the realization of the God he was talking. So then he was convinced that and then when he asked that, can you show me? He says, that cannot be done. That I cannot do. Because that you have to do. Because you have to see. Like I have seen. I can show you the path. Like mother says, the sunlit path. So the path can be said, but it cannot be, God cannot be shown. So these are the thoughts that are coming when we are discussing about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Badalji. Thank you.
Yeah, it kind of good examples to see that we can use reason, right? Like we don't have to just, okay, I more money, more money, more money. Father's property means so much more money, but I already have enough. And a regular person, the world would call him stupid, right? Because you can never have enough. But to pause and question that, what do I do with it now? These things, again, these are such beautiful examples of how reason can be used to stop us from our own downfalls, right? Like just that, it was very nice. So I think just should we then end the session here?
I think we can. think maybe concluding with this, how these examples were shared, that it reason would help us to step back from this grasping self. That's it.
Mm.
That always wants more and more and more, but is still living like a beggar, never satisfied. So that's why just helping to be less sticky, I believe. And hence more, as you were sharing, Badalji, more peaceful and more content with ourselves, the way we are. And not saying that there is not work to do, there is much work to do, but knowing very well that these things can't give me that, through our experiences, logically analyzing them, that which I am seeking, this true lasting contentment, have I gotten it? So many years have passed by. I don't know how much long I have. How long would I still follow the old trail? Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Mother shares, it's never too early to begin and it's never too late to start. So wherever we are, whatever age, whatever situation, good time to start.
So thank you. And as Monica says, that if we can also just take 1 more minute now at the end, and just like we distribute, say, a prasad from a temple, if we can just close our eyes and also share the merit of anything, that all the things that we could share today, think about today, that may all of us can see the light and be, less, one drop less of poison in the ocean. Thank you for joining in, and hope to see us all again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Monica. Thank
Thank
you.
you.